So taking a look under the car here now, this is the frame rail brace that needs attention, as you can see. This line, I think, is something to do with emissions, like some kind of an evaporator system, I believe. Somebody can let us know in the comments if they know better. The fuel lines, the two fuel lines are on the other side of the frame rail there. So yeah, this side line is just as crusty as the rest. Those are the fuel lines and the brake line there. I found it interesting, there's only one brake line that goes to the back and then it just splits. So if you lose either side of the back, you lose all the back brakes. But I think the front should be, for safety reasons, on a separate circuit, so you still have some brakes if you lose the back. But yeah, that's the frame rail repair needed anyways. There are a few crusty looking spots under here, but overall still a very solid car considering what it is and how long it's sat. And so this is the fun on the inside of the frame rail that we're working with here. I've already disconnected the steel fuel lines and I've taken the clamps off the hose up further there, but I'm thinking, because I can't as of yet get new steel lines for it, that I'll either just do rubber like I've run temporary here, or do like copper lines. But if I wanted to run rubber proper, I could just use a chunk of these, because both of these are still quite good up this section. So leave the proper fitting there that goes to the engine, keep a section of this, clamp some rubber onto it, and run that to the back. But I got those out of the way for now, and I have up there, you can just barely see in the center, is the one brake line going to the back. The line up that way is like brand new, but I've pinched it off there and cut it and started to remove the lines back to here. That's the brake line there. It's actually leaking a little bit, and this is the junction of the rest of the fuel lines going back. That one's not even attached either. So that's what we're up against here. I'm not going to be able to film too much of this as I'm doing it, so there's not really much exciting to see. I'm just going to go through now and strip all the old fuel lines and the old brake lines out, and then we can start making new brake lines out of the copper nickel stuff, and we'll start building it from back to front, and then hopefully connect it without losing too much fluid. Hopefully the ABS module has not already lost all its fluid, because that's going to be really not fun to bleed out. So I put some more fluid in the reservoir before I started this in case it started to leak on me. So hopefully we'll be able to pull out that line up the front and connect the new line without losing too much fluid, and then we can work towards bleeding. I think all the front brake lines are pretty much perfect, so I'm not going to touch them unless we end up with a leak starting or bleeding. So yeah, we're just going to go through this. I'll go through some stuff on forming the brake lines and doing the flaring, and I bought some new flare nuts as well for it, so we'll go through a bit of that. Other than that, we're just going to hammer out some new brake lines here. I have to wait for new brake parts to come, shoes and hardware, and I'm getting the rotors machined currently to try and save some money for now. I want to put drilled and slotted rotors on it later. But yeah, we're waiting on some other parts to come and start slowly buttoning this up. So yeah, anyway, we've got, I think like I mentioned before, we got two flex lines on each side of the rear, two different ones. One to the suspension arm, and then one from the arm to the caliper. So I've got new flex hoses all the way around coming, 6 of them. I've got the parking brake shoes and hardware coming. I've got new brake pads coming all the way around. I've got new front wheel bearings and hubs coming, because both of these make noise currently. The right side front sway bar bracket there is actually rotted on the one side and not even holding anymore, so I got to try and come up with
bushings and brackets. There are some coming that I ordered, but I don't know for a fact if they're right or not, so we'll have to see on that. Other than that, I still have to find a source for calipers. I have 2 rear calipers coming. That might be closer to a week before we get them though. But I have to come up with some fronts, and the fronts are the worst ones as far as like rusty shale condition. So I'm gonna do some looking. ECS Tuning has them, but the problem is the time period. They won't be here for a bit, and I'd like to try and get this all wrapped up in a week or so here, or mostly wrapped up unless something else happens. So yeah, got a little bit more searching to do on that. Do some more looking online and see who else has calipers. Then my normal source has the left front, but nobody has a right front. So I'm not going to put one new one on from them and then have the other side something different. So I want to have them the same, at least left to right. But yeah, we'll keep picking away at it here. We've got some of the upper part apart here as well, the breather and the intake boot and whatever, so that I can get to the brake reservoir and the lines a little more easily. And the ABS module is up here. As I said, the lines up here all look like absolutely brand new, so I'm not going to mess with any of them unless I absolutely have to. And yeah, piece by piece we'll start putting this thing together and get it on the road. So I took the parking brake out of the car. It's just down here. Couple of issues. One with this handle being the button is for some reason like more than a ½ inch down in the hole. I don't know, it won't focus for me. But it's supposed to be sticking out at the end so that you can push it. So it does still work if you reach your finger in there and push it still releases, but there's something very wrong with that, because obviously that's not supposed to be like that. So I took the cables off and took the handle out. 1, to figure out what's wrong with the handle, and 2, because we got to replace the cables anyways. They're seized completely solid, so now I should be able to hopefully pull them out backwards through the floor, and we've got new cables on the way, and we'll be able to put that all back together so we actually have a functioning parking brake, which would be nice. And then another thing on the list is the shift knob here. It has seen better days, so I have a M3 knob that I bought for just for fun. This obviously isn't an M3, but it'll look nice on there, and it won't do that when you're trying to go for reverse, so we'll put that on at some point as well. So this is the lovely surprise we get in the glove box, and whatever the heck all of that is. I have a feeling it's mouse pee that just kind of crystallized, so that's great. So we gotta get that out of here and sterilize the bejesus out of it. And looking at that, the whole entire center console, I'm assuming, is also filled with mouse nest. So that's gonna be wonderful. Whole car stinks of mouse, full of mouse poop. So yeah, it's gonna need a whole like sterilization and bleached or something, so that's gonna be a good time. Okay, so I got the glove box out here. It's not too bad actually. The little hanger straps that stop it from going too far down, they have little plastic pin clips that just go through. So you just gotta squeeze the end a little bit and pop them out, one on each side. And then down the back of the box, there's these slotted holes, and they have a little plate with a sheet metal single thread in, and these little gold screws go in from the back through that plate up there. And that's all there is to getting the glove box out, except for that left hand plug there is the I believe the switch for the light. Yeah, supposed to be a switch for the light. That Nokia is some kind of speaker that was put on the bottom of this glove box for some reason. I don't know what it's for. I don't know what it does. But got the glove box out now so that we can start sterilizing it because it stinks. And then I don't want to do it right now, but I'm probably going to dig into the console here as well because I want to find out why there's that same stuff coming out of the radio, which is very concerning to me. So yeah, lots of fun with cars that are full of mice at some point.